Attention capsuleers, are you tired of the same old routes through New Eden? Ready to embark on an adventure through the mysterious depths of Pochven? Then buckle up, because today we're driving on into the Pochven Highway, your ticket to swift and safe travel throughout Empire space. I'm Nth, and in this thrilling episode, we're going to uncover the secrets of this enigmatic region and show you how to navigate these highways of the Triglavian domain like a seasoned explorer. So fire up your warp drives and prepare for a journey unlike any other, because the Pochven Highway awaits. First up, what the heck is Pochven? Well, it's a pretty special place that was created when a group called the Triglavians came into Empire space from the unknown abyss. They yoinked 27 systems that were previously connected to the main Empire space and kind of put them in a layer above where everyone else is. And in this layer above, things are a little bit different. So here I'm going to show a map of Pochven. As you can see, they have looped all of their systems into a triangle, and each point has a home system. So Pochven works mostly like nullsec, but it also has some wormhole effects as well. Things like there's not going to be any local, bubbles are allowed, you can't put up any new structures. They have reverse wormhole statics. We're not going to get too much into this, but there are wormholes that are always in special areas of HiSec that always come into Pochven, and you need a certain amount of reputation to do a certain amount of things in this area. So you need some reputation to dock into the NPC stations as well as get into these home stations. But aside from that, there's one very important aspect of Pochven that we are talking about here today, and it's that we have access to filaments that let us go into Pochven as well as out of Pochven. There's a number of variety of filaments, which we'll be talking about more in depth later in this video, but suffice it to say that we can use these filaments to our advantage to quickly traverse Empire space, as we will see now. Getting in and out of Pochven is a pretty easy affair, but we're going to go over all the steps and just make sure that you got it all under control. So step one is we need to get an inbound and outbound filament. You can find these on the regional markets. So if you go to trade goods and then Triglavian space inbound, you'll see you have a number of options here. They have a name and then a TAC number. The number means how many people you can use this filament on, so there's 5 and 15. For our little experiment, we're going to be using a border 5. That'll be fine there. And then on the outbound, there's another option of glorification and proximity. Again, we're going to be talking about these in the next segment, but we're going to go ahead and use a proximity 5 for our outbound. These filaments can be used pretty much anywhere except for wormhole space. So if you're in nullsec, if you're in pretty much known space, you can't use it in Pochven, you can't use it in wormholes, but everywhere else you're good to go. We got our filaments here. Let's go ahead and undock. We're going to be going out of jita, no problem. And the next thing about these filaments is that you do need to be in a fleet to use them. So we're going to go ahead and just join a fleet of our own as we warp to a safe bookmark. Just go ahead and go up to your Neocom menu, go to social, go to fleet. If you are unfamiliar, there will be a form fleet option. Just the basic is totally fine. Now we are in our own little fleet. You do need to have your safety at least yellow. This is pretty much the same as all of your regular nullsec filaments if you're familiar with those. And then we're going to use we set a porter, so we can go ahead and activate this. This does give us a log off timer. So we have 15 minutes before we can do a variety of things like safely log off in space or use another filament. But we have successfully gone to Pochven. So now, pretty much our goal here is get to jita, right? We chose some filaments that were pretty optimal for doing this, as we'll talk about in the next section. But from here, we have a few options. There's usually wormholes. In this case, there is no wormholes here, but otherwise we can wait 15 minutes and we can use a filament after that. So we can cloak up, we're safe, we're totally safe there. We could dock up, or we can just run around from safe to safe if we don't have a cloak on our ship.
15 minutes later.
All right, 15 minutes are up. Welcome back. And now we can go ahead and go to our inventory. Easy peasy. We're just going to uncloak. And very simply, we're going to use a proximity. Again, you need to be in a fleet. All the regular applications apply. Hit activate. And voila. We're coming into K-space, Empire space, and we are only 5 jumps away from Jita. Now remember, you could have done the inbound from anywhere in K-space. You could have been all the way out in Omist. You could have been in 1DQ, the heart of Delve, and you could have used those 2 filaments, only taken 15 minutes, and you're 5 jumps away from Jita. That's amazing. Now, let's talk about the creme de la creme. How do we know which filaments to use? But before we talk about finding the perfect filament for your trip, if you're finding this video as exciting as I am, don't warp away just yet. Hit that like button to show your support for the video, and share your thoughts and experiences with the Pochven Highway in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to the Nth Dimension for more EVE Online adventures and tips. There's more cosmic exploration coming your way, so stay tuned and let's continue our journey through the stars together. With that out of the way, it's finally time to give you your present. I made a spreadsheet just for you, so here is the spreadsheet for you. Before we dive into this though, we do need to actually explain what the filaments do. So before we talked about just their names, and now I'm going to tell you that there are, for the inbound filaments, you can see on this chart here, there are home, which are the corners, internal, which are next to the corners, and border systems. There are also the different clades. So you have Cry-Perun, Cry-Velis, and Cry-Zavar. If you use one of those filaments, you will be going to one of those specific systems. And then for the outbound filaments, you have proximity and glorification. For glorification, you will go to one of the Triglavian minor victory systems. These are kind of all spread throughout Empire space. There is also a link down in the description to the Pochven entry manual guide, which has a lot of great information about all of this. But for the proximity filament, you will go to a place that is 3 jumps away at max of where the system used to be. So if we are in a Pochven system that is physically used to be close to Jita, if we use a proximity filament, we will come out close to Jita. So now our goal is how and what inbound filament can we use to have a statistically high chance of landing in a Pochven system that is close to our target system, so we can use a proximity to get out easily. Let's go back to the spreadsheet now. So here we are, spreadsheet time. We have 2 editable fields. We have the target system ID and we have the route preference. This spreadsheet uses a thing called Gessie. It's in Google Spreadsheets. I'll explain at the end how you can have access to this to customize it for you further. But for now, we have a target system ID of this number, which is Jita. Here we have the major trade hubs, but there's a list at Atom for Eve, which you can find out all of the system IDs easily and put in whatever you want. So we have Jita as our target system, and our route preference is secure. So this is your autopiloting route preference. There's always, as you know, secure, less secure, and shortest. So we're just going with secure here. And doing all that populates some tables, which makes this table a reality. So let's explain this table, the good shit. We have Sakinta. Sakinta is a system in Pochven. If you happen to be in Sakinta for any reason, if you use a proximity filament, you will be, on average, 3.7 jumps away from your target system, which is Jita in this case. Your medium is 4 jumps, your max is 8, and your minimum is 1. You have all of these systems that are the Pochven systems, so when you use a proximity, you can figure out what that is. Sakinta, Nani, Aravas are a good system to use proximity filaments away from. There are also these red lines. These red lines are going to be your filaments. So if you have a border filament that you go in with and then use a proximity filament from there, you will on average be 7.5 jumps away from your target system, aka Jita. Your median is 6, your max is 21, and your minimum is 1. You can use a border hope for the best. It's probably going to be pretty good. If it's like the 21 one, which looks like it's Veil, then you can jump a system if you feel safe doing that, or you could use multiple filaments to maybe you can use a glorification to get out and then another border to get in, whatever you feel is safest for you. Then there is the Perun, the Velis, the internal, and then the Glory. So Glory is a little bit special. Glory means that you can be in any Pochven system, and if you use the Glory filament, you will be on average 17.5 jumps away from your target system jita. Your median is 10.5, your max is 60. You could get really screwed if you use a Glory trying to get to jita, so make sure you just have extras to go back in if you need to. And your minimum is 5, so that's pretty good. So yeah, here you have it, the secret sauce. The secret here for you is that if you want to just get to jita, easy peasy, take border, take proximity. It'll work basically every time. It's what we did in the video. As you saw, we were 5 jumps away from jita, no problem. That's it for you. If you want to use this spreadsheet to customize, there will be a shared link down in the description. However, there are some caveats. You are going to need to make a copy of the spreadsheet, and then you are going to need to go to extensions. You will have a Gessie extension here, and you will need to authorize your character. So the only reason Gessie is working is because I have authorized my character on this spreadsheet, but that is not how it's going to be when you get this spreadsheet. So after you do that, you also need to go to this table over here, and there is this formula here. You're going to want to copy this formula, just Control C, and then you're going to delete all of these, and then you need to make it do it again. So then you can go up here, you can Control V, and then you can drag all of this down. Hopefully you know how to use spreadsheets, right? This is a little explanation. And as you can see, they're all 1 now, but they will, through time, populate. It does take a little bit for Gessie to think and do all of that stuff, but you're getting like actual data out of the game by doing this. You can do a whole lot of really cool stuff. And once that's all populated, you will have a wonderful chart here. And you can also change to, like if we do Heck as our target system, secure, we probably want to keep secure, and I will cut to when Heck is all calculated.
A few moments later.
So here we have it for Heck. We can sort by average jumps, and so here we can see that Cry Velis is going to be the best option for Heck. However, also you see that it is a pretty large number here, and that is because when Pochven was being created, it was kind of being manipulated a little bit. Players were poking in and out, and it basically ended up that a lot of Caldari area systems were taken over, and therefore a lot of proximity is next to Caldari areas, also known as jita. But you can use it for any place else. You might want to specifically go to Kirald here. You can fly your way through Pochven, get a secure route to Kirald, and then proximity out of Kirald, and you'll be, just fine. Easy peasy. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.